All right, we're going to give you some tips on this video on how to most easily assemble your new snow globe display. Nick's going to perform the operation. I'm going to talk you through it. Step one, very key, unpack everything. Get yourself as large and as clean a works area as you can. The best option might be a large table, but assuming that's not available in most cases, we're going to have Nick assemble this on the box. This is the actual box that the tower parts came out of, and it'll serve as the work surface. So we recommend you doing it that way. That's how Nick will show you. Notice that he has all the parts laid out in the same orientation. We want the tabs on all the panels facing the same direction and the pockets leaning in the same direction. That's important to getting this thing square. The other thing that's important, notice Nick has all of his hardware unpacked and set within arm's reach, because as you're assembling this, you won't want to be having to put the parts down that you're working on and retrieving hardware. So with that, we're ready to go. All right, so Nick is proceeding with the connection of the panels. Notice what he's doing. There's 3 tabs along the length of this. Obviously, they slide down into the weighting slots. The key he's worried about is the center tab. Notice where he's holding this. The center tab is the one which receives the O-ring that locks it in place. See, that O-ring is just like a rubber band, and it stretches over those tabs and locks those 2 panels together. Now Nick can rotate it and take the next panel, and there's more slots here. See, he just went 3 slots down into that panel, rotates to access his O-ring. That's an important step at as each panel's applied. You want to get to that O-ring, lock it together. Now Nick can continue to rotate. He keeps getting it to essentially the same position. The 4th panel requires a little twist before it'll go in. Watch what Nick's doing. He's working his way past the 2 tabs that seem like they're fighting each other, but what he did is he bent the panels and got it to line up. Notice his attention to the 3 different slots as he goes. This takes a little bit of wrestling, but the beautiful thing is, once it's in line, it falls into place. And you can't set this thing wrong. There it goes. It kind of popped. So again, it's essential now Nick captures that alignment via putting another O-ring on. All good? He had not put one of them on, so he's putting his 4th O-ring on now. Notice he had to snug the tower together. If the tab doesn't stick through far enough to get the O-ring on, you've got to pull on the tower a little bit. All right, next, Nick's going to put the bottom plate on. Now he's got the unit, notice how it's hanging over the box. That enables him to have clearance. Hey Nick, show if you got that thing backwards. You know, there's a right side and a wrong way to orient this thing. If it's not right, you just flip it over and get it in. See how Nick had it on purpose backwards, but there's only one way it'll go on. And then, just like on the panels, he gets that tab to pop all the way through, giving him enough of a ledge to put an O-ring on. With each O-ring, this unit starts to get more sturdy. There, he's getting it to pop through, getting his O-ring on. Again, each time you anchor a panel, the integrity, the structural integrity of this unit starts to increase. So he's almost got the bottom plate on. Hear that thing pop when he got it in line. Now, he's going to go around to the front, or the top actually, and this is best done on its side. Notice he's got what we call a little metal hub in the instructions, and it's with the tabs pointing towards him. He inserts about 1 inch or 2 down into this panel and uses the little clear rivet clips. And here's an important thing. Notice he got 3 clicks out of it, and that means that clip is completely attached. There are little ribs on it, and if you only click it to the first rib, it's not as strong as if you can get 3 clicks out of it. So Nick's now going to put that, anchor that metal hub to all 4 panels. It takes a little dexterity with his fingers, a little patience, and it's important to get all of those 4 rivets snapped. Okay, now that the tower's all together, or the hub's in the top of the tower, we want to get this thing ready to set on the base. Notice I'm showing this wrap, which was part of the inner pack. The poles came out of these cavities, and it's important that you don't throw the packaging away till you get all the parts out. But now that Nick's got the poles, what he's doing is, it's pretty obvious where that goes, but we supplied this rubber mallet so that you can hit that thing hard enough to get, see where his finger's pointing? You want to get that black shoulder firmly engaged around the base. Okay. Next he's going to assemble the upper part of the pole. And then in the hole on the base, the lower part of the pole, Nick's going to insert the hardware, which is the cotter pin or the hitch pin. Then over the top of the pole, first the washer, then the bearing, then another washer. That's what the tower will sit on. We have a high ceiling here, so Nick's going to be able to lift this tower up. Remember, there's a hole in the bottom of the unit. If you don't have a high ceiling, you're going to have to do this on its side. But it gets it in the hole. Now, if you remember the little hub that he put in on top of the tower, that's what he's going to fish the pole through. Watch him work that till it drops over that hub. Now, he's ready to apply the top. And again, the top can be correct or incorrect. You just quickly determine which way's up via the pattern on those slots. You had to flip it, there you go. Same drill here. Tabs through the slots. Once it's down, O-rings. Okay, he can, right now if he wanted to, you don't have to peel that, but that's a peel and stick sign to go center of the unit. And then the last thing to do is to secure the pockets in their down position. That's done with the 2-part plastic rivet clips that nest together. Watch as Nick feeds it into the hole and then drops the pocket down, the tab on that pocket to line up, gets 3 clicks. This is going to stabilize the pocket. So it takes them, they were shipped to you in this rotating position. He's going to lock each one of them down through that hole as you saw. So that's a step you have to repeat for each pocket as you go along. Let's fast forward to the very bottom pockets. Notice that tab, what Nick's doing here is he's going to feather it into that slot. And once it's down like that, and once you have product in it, it'll sit neatly right on top of the deck. That's when you know you've got that pocket in the right spot.